Good morning, folks. It's Monday, Halloween. My name is Steve Rennie. I am the Renman. If you haven't met before, I'm a longtime music industry professional, now mentor for aspiring artists and music professionals around the world. If you watched our show or segments before, you know I love to read Billboard Magazine. If you're going to do something big in the music business, it's important to keep up on all the goings on as best you can, who the players are, what the issues are. In this week's Billboard Magazine, there's our former president, Bill Clinton, and the very handsome John Bon Jovi. Gotta love John Bon Jovi, always have, even when it wasn't hip. Some great stories in there today for you folks. Lots of folks I get emails from that are releasing their records and singles and so forth and asking me, well, how do you do that? Well, here's the way Lady Gaga did it. She did kind of an old school promo blitz, you know, instead of just dropping it secretly, she's winding it up big time. Now, for most of you folks, that's not going to be possible, but I think it's important to understand what the big boys and girls are doing. Knowing who the players are, we talked a little bit about that last week, and Billboard spotlights players all the time. Here's one by the name of Joel Clayman. He's an old friend of mine from Epic Records, one of the top promo guys in the business. He's the head of promotion at Columbia Records. He's going to join us shortly. We're going to speak with him and get his thoughts on how to get your music above the radar on radio, on Spotify, iTunes, and the like. If you know me well, you know that I really love to read stuff online, though. And every day, or every Monday, I like to start off with Billboard Magazine after I've got done getting bummed out about the world we live in. Today, great to see. Cubs won one last night, even, getting closer to evening up the series. And Eddie Vedder singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." You just gotta love that, Eddie Vedder. I won't waste your time playing it for you. A bunch of other great stories here, but one in particular caught my eye, because whenever I read Billboard Magazine, there's always some lessons that come to mind when I read stories, lessons that I might share with an artist about, hey, do this or don't do that. And so today I'm going to indulge you folks with a little Billboard lesson in the news, all right? And the lesson I want to show you today has to do with my friend, Mr. Justin Bieber. Now, for the sake of honesty and openness, I am so impressed with what Justin Bieber has done. He was going down into the dark hole with all his buddies and his cronies, getting in trouble everywhere. He lived right up the street from me. And actually, not right up the street. He literally could have pissed on my lawn from his house up on a hill. But he moved out. And I'll say this, he was very quiet and very respectful, not like some of the neighbors up there. Anyway, Justin has made a huge comeback, largely with the help of Skrillex and company, and has kind of had a rebirth in his career. So when I read this story today, I thought it was just, it disappointed me and really speaks to a lesson that I want all of you folks to understand. And that is, if you're an artist out there making music and aspiring to do something big in this business, right? There'll be all kinds of moments that test your mettle and your commitment. But I'm here to tell you that being an artist is a privilege, not a chore. And I'm stealing that line from my good friend Brandon Boyd, who wrote a song called Privilege, where he talked about this notion, isn't it weird that a privilege should feel like a chore? And I'd like to throw that out there for all of you. And so to illustrate the point, I want to read this story for you, and then we'll talk about it, all right? Justin Bieber explains why he walked off a stage in Manchester, England. Justin Bieber penned a letter to his fans Saturday night explaining why he abruptly walked off stage mid-show during a Purpose World Tour stop in Manchester, England. During the concert, which took place on October 23rd, the Sorry singer dropped his mic and left the stage after pleading with fans to stop screaming in between performances. He goes on to say, people tend to want to shut you down. What I mean by that is people try to twist things. Some people don't want to listen. But I simply feel like if I didn't use this platform to say how I truly feel, and if I didn't use this platform to be the man that I know I am and speak from what's in my heart, then I'm doing myself injustice, and I'm not doing anybody in this audience any justice. He continued, there's going to be times when I say the wrong things because I'm human. There's going to be times when I get upset, times when I get angry. There's times when I'm going to be frustrated, but I'm going to be myself on this stage. The singer added that the comments implying he stormed off because he was angry at his fans are false. I'm wondering about that, Justin. All I was simply doing was wanting people to listen, to kind of hear me out a little bit. Certain cities aren't going to want to hear me out. And you know, sometimes it's my job to just say, hey, I'm not going to try to force anything. He ended his letter by thanking fans in attendance at his show on Saturday. It sounds to me like he should have apologized to his fans in the Manchester. Some thoughts on that notion there. First off, for Justin Bieber and for any artist out there that's making music, being an artist is a privilege. If you look at Justin Bieber, it wasn't that long ago. He was just like you folks out there, dying to have somebody listen to his music, dying to have somebody care about it, dying to have somebody applaud and scream because they loved it so much. Justin goes on in there and talks about how it's his job. What did he say? It's my job to tell people what he thinks, you know, to say, hey, I'm not going to force anything. Now, actually, your job, if you're an artist, is to entertain people. That's what you signed up for. And if that feels like work, perhaps you should think about another line of work. Another thing that disturbed me in that note is that too often it's easy for a performer to think it's all about them instead of the people that are out there enjoying their music, right? If it's all about you, and that's the only thing that matters, and I suggest you make your music in your bedroom and don't ruin it for yourself by asking anybody to participate or criticize or be involved in it in any way possible. One of these days, if you're looking at Justin Bieber, one of these days, Mr. Bieber, this whole madness, this whole weight and burden of having people give a shit about your music will likely be over if track record is any indicator. And when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about how really tough it is to listen to people screaming, all 15,000 of them, in between your songs, okay, because they love you. Because one day you may be like MC Hammer doing Geico commercials, right? Wondering what the fuck happened. So the moral of the story, the lesson for all you folks out there that aren't Justin Bieber, that are looking for people to give a shit about your music, is music is a privilege. Making music is a privilege, not a chore. And if it starts to feel like more of a chore than privilege, perhaps it's time to hang it up and go get that day gig, because that might be where you're heading. For those of you folks that are actually interested in learning about this business, more about it, if I haven't bummed you out right now, a couple ways you can do that. I want you to join my website. It's called RenmanMusicandBusiness.com. You join the website, tell me a little bit about yourself, and we'll send you all kinds of free content specific to your interest level. For you folks that are getting started and thinking about going to college and spending thousands of dollars, I got a better idea. It's called the Renman Insider's Guide to Today's Music Biz. Come on, baby, talk to me. It's got all kinds of great information in there, and I'll see if I can show you a little bit of it. Thoughts about the big picture. That's about this attitude, and that's kind of what we were just talking about right there. We talk about how to make great music and thoughts about treating your career as a business, building a professional team and the like. And each of those lessons, and here's one that I might throw at my friend Mr. Bieber today, making it personal, building a personal connection, treating your audience with respect, not forgetting who's got the job and who's supposed to be just doing the easy part, which is the crowd, is make it personal. Each of these lessons is got a video clip. There are 155 of them in the course. All of them are followed with some supplemental information from all these great Renman live shows we've done over the past, other artists, other professionals talking about the points that we're discussing. And finally, a little lesson for you folks to test your knowledge of what's going on. Anyway, those are my thoughts today on Monday. I hope you enjoy them. And if you have some comments about this old notion of privilege versus chore, are artists, is it a job or is it a privilege? Maybe a little bit of both, but it's more privilege than chore. Offer your thoughts on in the comment section here on either Facebook or YouTube. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say. My name is Steve Rennie. I am the Renman, and I am out of